What is your greatest blessing?
AlMaghrib Institute presents Q&A with Farhan Abdul Azeez.
I remember in medical school, we had a class on the nervous system, and they brought a lady in to our classroom to talk to us. And what happened was she was in the Middle East somewhere, vacationing. She was underneath, she had kind of buried herself in the sand, just her head was sticking out. And this was an area where people were riding those dune buggies, those like four-wheel vehicles, kind of going through and having a good time. And so this person came, not seeing her buried in the sand, and drove right over her, but she was just under it. And from that, she actually became, she broke her spine and she became paralyzed. And so they brought her into our class to talk about how recovery from a disaster like this, and how her therapy kind of like every single day to try to get certain movements back. And she talked about the blessing of health and being able to do things that we find to be so easy that you and I can do on a day-to-day basis, right? And so if you ask someone what's their greatest blessing, the typical things that come to mind are our health, the ability to be able to walk or to use the restroom on our own, to be able to eat and feed ourselves, right? Some people will say family, to have, a supportive husband or wife or parents or children. That's the greatest blessing. Once you have a child, perhaps that's the greatest thing in your life, and nothing else is more important than that child, right? And so there's all these things that we can think about, or maybe some people are very superficial and their brand new car that they have, that's the most important thing to them, or their iPhone or whatever it is. But subhanAllah, in Surah Hujurat, a surah that was revealed at the end of the life of the Prophet ﷺ, to give all these new Muslims coming into the community a blueprint, a guideline of how to develop themselves to having the faith and the character of a believer. One of the things the surah outlines and emphasizes is that the greatest blessing that we have is actually our faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And even if we were to lose our health, or lose our family, or lose any of material things that we have in this world, so long as you have your faith, you have the greatest blessing Allah has given you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala called it a fadl and a ni'mah, a bounty and a blessing. And then He, at the end of the surah, and kind of summarizing the beautiful flow the surah goes through, He calls out these new Muslims who came into Islam, and they were trying to tell the Prophet ﷺ that they're doing him a favor, that we embrace Islam without fighting you, so we're actually doing you a favor. And Allah says, they try and show that they're giving you a favor, O Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He says, بَلِ اللَّهُ يَمُنُّ عَلَيْكُمْ أَنْ هَدَاكُمْ لِلْإِيمَانِ. It is rather Allah who gave you that bounty by guiding you to faith, right? And so faith is our greatest blessing. And sometimes we think that, attending a seminar in Islam, or praying 5 times a day, or giving in charity, or whatever it is, that we've accomplished something, that we've returned the favor to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This verse is so powerful that it is Allah who actually gave His favor upon us to guide us to faith, to guide us to all what faith brings in us, from good qualities and being charitable and being generous and kind and all those things that come with faith. It's actually a blessing from Allah upon us. So I hope you join us in our upcoming class, Faith and Honor, where we look at Surah Hujurat and we find out how we can really firmly establish our faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we can build in ourselves the qualities and the characteristics of a believer and the manners that he or she should embody. I hope to see you at Faith and Honor.